live from our studios on QCell Avenue. Good evening, viewers, from wherever you're watching us from. It's good to be back to yet another edition of the Youth Dialogue, and I am your host, Jules Denjai. Like I promised last week, we had a very interesting conversation. We had youth parliamentarians from Banjul North and Fonyi Bintang Karanai, and you know, we had some quite interesting discussions, and of course the Gambia participates about, you know, youth participation in politics, decision making and national development. And this week I promised that we are going to have an extensive youth dialogue, a special youth dialogue where I will bring all these young people from across the Gambia in diverse areas to talk about generally youth issues affecting young people, but of course national security. We are going to talk about peace. We are going to talk about the upcoming elections, civic duties and responsibilities, and what it means, you know, the concept of Gambia First. What does that really mean? If you hear Gambia First, what really comes to your mind as a young person living in the country? And you know, how are we going to chart a way forward as far as you know, the development of this country is concerned? And you know, I am with Jacqueline Coley as my co-host. You know, I will tell you the gist later as to why she is here, but for now let me just allow her to introduce herself. Jacqueline, good evening.
Good evening, viewers. My name is Jacqueline Coley, like Julie rightly said, and today I'm the co-host for the Youth Dialogue. The very first time we're having a co-host on the show, right?
Yes, the very first time.
You give them the gist as time goes on, and we're expecting to have a very insightful discussions regarding the topics you just mentioned.
Yeah. This is the one problem I have with them. Jacqueline Coley. Jacqueline Coley. What is that?
My name is not Jacqueline.
It's Jacqueline. No. You know, that's the issue I have with the journalists.
No, it's a French name.
Yes,
this
exactly.
So on the program, we are joined by the Superintendent of Police, Modu Musa Sisao, who is the Public Relations Officer of the Gambia Police Force. Mr. Sisao, thank you very much for always being there and for, you know, being ready to always come to join us on QTV.
Happy to be here as always.
Thank you. So, and another person who is so active in youth matters. Over the years, he has contributed so much as far as youth development, empowerment, participation is concerned, and he is no other than Alaji Jaju, who is the Executive Director of the National Youth Council. Mr. Jaju, good evening.
Thank you, and good evening to all the viewers. And it's a great pleasure to be here today. And unfortunately, for the first time.
Yes. Oh, for the first time.
Yes.
Can you imagine a youth representative? So we apologize for that.
But it's a great pleasure to be here
Right.
today. Thank you.
So, and joining me too for the first time is Yusuf Tunkara, who is the coordinator of the National Coordinator NPP Students Wing. You know, I think it's the first time I'm having a NPP Student Wing rep as well. Yusuf, how are you?
Good. Thank you for the invitation, and good evening to my colleagues, and good evening, Gambia. Well, this is my second time actually appearing in Youth.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this is your first time with me.
That's
yes,
correct.
this is your first time.
That's correct.
So, and lastly, we were expecting two other people, you know, to join us later. Is Abdullah Njai, who is the NAM for Banjul Central, and of course, the UDP Youth President, Secretary General of the UDP Youth Wing. We are expecting him to come, but for some reason he is not still here. But joining me again was the person who joined me last week, who is the National Assembly member for Fonyi Bintang Karanai, who is Honorable Bakari K. Baji. Honorable.
Thank you. It is always a great pleasure to be part of this discussion. And as I always say, when we discuss, we have solutions to the problems that we face as a nation. So happy to be part of the discussion.
Yeah. So, like I said in my introductory statement, a lot of Gambians, you know, when they wake up on a daily basis, what they talk about is the issue of rising cost of living, you know, unemployment, the issue of crime rate, peace, youth participation. The list goes on and on and on. That is why I said this week we're going to bring stakeholders, young people who are in the forefront in terms of policy making, in terms of youth leadership or participation, but also upcoming politicians who are also very much engaged as far as politics is concerned, but also the Gambia Police Force, to tell us what they've been doing over the years, you know, as far as security is concerned. So I will start with very fundamental question for all of you. And I will start with PRO. And the question is, what's your take on the state of the nation currently in terms of peace, security, and of course, institutional reforms?
Thank you very much. It's a broad one, actually.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a very broad one. But again, looking at it from the security perspective, I think we are doing very well. We are actually doing very well. Despite the fact that I know of recent, people would say, how is that possible when people are stabbing each other? You know, people are dying, but because we need to interrogate that, you know, because that is just one part of a lot. Talking of security, that is, you know, is beyond just murder cases. There are so many other aspects of security that we are doing very well in, and I am aware in June alone we had about 5 alleged murder cases. And why this is significant is because we have a role as a country, as a society, as a people. Like, one, these are not organized crimes. This is not a state crime. This is a crime or a murder as a result of 2 people who live in the same environment, the same compound, who knew each other, who has issues, people who are doing business to each other. This is why it is very important for people to interrogate this. Looking at just the latest one, or one of the latest ones, where you have the electrician and the car owner. What must have been the case? What really got to a level where people would actually stab each other? I think this is the discussion. You understand? Look at this former student leader in Fajara. Look at the circumstance. Okay, going back to Talinding, people fought over what? Satellite discs because of football. And the other one stabbed, the other died. You understand? So I think it's very important we look at all of this. But the sad reality is that when this happened, people are saying the Gambia is not safe, the Gambia is not secure, there are security lapses and all of that. I totally disagree with this, because these are not, you know, equal to insecurity. Insecurity is an inability for people to move around freely about their businesses and everything. We're not having that here.
So people are saying it's insecurity. How would you convince the Gambian out there who said, okay, all these people dying on a daily basis, we are no longer safe in this country? How would you convince that person that this is beyond just stabbing and all of that?
We will come to that. This is just a starter.
Okay.
You know,
it's a
relevant one, really. But we will come to that because it's a starter, and I want us to set the stage as far as, you know, what his own take is as far as this, you know, these very important issues are.
So we are saying that I think people need to look inward ourselves in our society. People need to understand the environment in which they live, because safety is individual priority. It's your responsibility. The state has a role in providing security for the nation, and this we are doing very well. On a daily basis, day in, day out, we are out there on patrols, visibility patrol, foot patrol, vehicular patrol, and our police stations are open to everybody who could go there and report cases if you have issues, and they would be addressed. Okay. But instances where people have issues in their homes, in their households, it will be difficult. You say, how is police going to stop this? It's not going to happen. We can't stop it.
You cannot stop it.
You cannot stop 2 people fighting and stabbing each other in their houses. We can't stop it.
Okay.
Because these are spontaneous when they happen. People quarrel. None of them, I believe, intended to kill the other. Because looking at what happened, they quarrel, and as a result, you know, we are used to it in our local language. It's so what and arguing and all of that, and then what happened actually happened.
So what you're saying is there is security, relatively there is peace and security in the country. So let me ask the same question to Mr. Jajo to see what his own take is, because all these cases involve young people in this country. So what is your own take, you know, on the state of the nation in terms of security, peace, and of course institutional reforms?
Thank you very much, Madam Julda. As I said earlier, it's a great pleasure to be here, and happy to have the police PRO doing, you know, the analysis on the, you know, the various cases, especially murder cases that we have had in the past, and which have been, you know, grave concern to all of us. You look at social media, you listen to, you know, the radio. everyone is concerned, you know, to the level, you know, you see people talking about, you know, the death penalty or all whatnot, you know, for want of just being concerned and ensuring that there is peace and security, stability in this country. But I equally want to agree with the PRO. These crimes are organized crime, probably even at acts that the police should be able to handle. But when you have a case of two brothers within the household fighting, these are usually, you know, very, very difficult, you know, cases, you know, to definitely address. So he rightly mentioned, we all have a role in our homes. We are all from homes, although my late principal at Gambia High, Willie Ika, will say some of us are from homes, some of us are from houses. But it's important that the family setup becomes a home where we are able to bring up, you know, each other as children, as a family, you know, to the level that we all want our young people to be. As a council, last year, I know we launched our National Action Plan on Youth Peace and Security. We know we are quite a stable country, quite peaceful, but despite that, at the level of the United Nations, there is this UN Security Council Resolution 2250, which requires that countries have national action plans on youth peace and security. Within the sub-region, you know, we became the third or the fourth to have one, despite being relatively peaceful, and of course, you know, the most peaceful within the sub-region. We thought we still needed to be proactive to have a national action plan on youth peace and security, and be able to sell, you know, the concept down to every young person, you know, to understand that the country's peace and security is the only way to posterity. And we kept citing examples of what happens in other countries, especially during political seasons, where, you know, young people are used, you know, in the forefront, you know, to really go out there and then be committing crimes. And we know what happens next. We become victims, but equally we become, you know, perpetrators, you know, at the same time. So we've, you know, used our action plan on youth peace and security to continue asking our young people the need, you know, to maintain peace and of course security, decorum. That is the only way a country can develop, or else you can develop in a 10-year span, and then within 1 year you're going back, you know, 50 years, you know, earlier, and all the developments that you have. When it comes to institutional reforms, I think there's a great deal of reform, and I think we want to comment, you know, the police in terms of all the reforms that have happened over the past years. To an extent that we, at some point, people accuse the police of being too lenient. Well, those are things of the past. You no longer expect, you know, a police officer to arrest someone and then malhandle you, beating you up. Those are things of the past. So the police, you know, have reformed. And of course, you know, be it the military, you know, the NIA will tell you, or the SIS will tell you, they don't arrest now. You know, they pick intelligence and then it's moved to the police, you know, to do, you know, the needful, and not what, you know, actually, you know, used to happen in the past. We have a Human Rights Commission that, you know, when sometimes when the report comes out, we see when, you know, they think, you know, government is at fault or has done a thing or two that they think is of concern. We see the Human Rights Council coming out and, you know, releasing a statement asking government, this has been done, but this should have been done this way and that way. And we have seen government also react, you know, of course, positively to some of the concerns that have been raised. So from our end as a council is to continue talking to our young people, because as it is said, or as it is seen out there, most of these things affect them directly. You know, the perpetrator is a young person, the victim, you know, is equally a young person in probably, I've not seen their profile, but I want to guess that all the cases that have happened, the perpetrator is a young person, and equally, you know, the victim is also a young person at the same time. So I think we all have a role to play, the police, government, but of course, as I said, in our homes, our society, we all have definitely a role to play in, you know, bringing up our children and of course our young people to the level that, you know, we want them to be.
So basically you're in line with PRO as to the state of the nation. Interesting, right?
Yes, sure.
We're going to have interesting conversations, especially with regard to the question that Jacqueline asked right now. So Mr. Tunkara, what's your own take with regard to Gambia state of the nation in terms of institutional reforms and of course security and peace?
Well, Thank you for having me. I'll start with the security issue that is going on in the country now. That is particularly disturbing. I think just a few days ago we host NPP students wing Bantaba with the presidents. The main questions, was about what do we do to our government is doing to tackle that, and I think that question is a very, very national issue now. For me, as someone from university fraternity, and of course, just Piero made mention of one of our colleagues being stabbed recently. I think from that point of view alone, I should be a little bit biased in going after police to make sure that we got justice quickly, but I will not do that. Rather, I will try to be as objective as I can.
Yes.
This is what I see with the security situation is in Gambia, we have so many people in these communities that ordinarily are not supposed to be there. And we also have a culture not to be in the first person to go and report someone to police or security officers because they will say that man mark report.
Yeah.
Do more than report because at the end of the day maybe so identity the again. So then parents go no I hope we can speak in our language.
Yeah,
so free. The parents will probably go after you and say, why did you go and report my son, my daughter? So I think that is very fundamental. People should help the security forces and security officers in protecting our community. We all have the responsibility. Like Piero made mention, these cases are not a state or organized crimes. Things that happen between business partners, colleagues, and then small argument. And in many cases, you will see that the person that eventually killed, they will say that this person have tried this several times. And he has gone to police or he has been left to live in community. I saw that even at our university level. People, small argument, and somebody will start beating up another person. And then unknowingly, and the person may be just turning around before you just take something and beat the person up. And people will come. And in many cases, when those cases go to police, we go again and negotiate the cases out of police, And then if that person eventually kills someone tomorrow, they say they have a problem there. So it is a societal issue. So we need to adjust with this kind of situation. To me, as young people, first we must learn to be tolerant. And understand that. And we need to be tolerant. We need to understand that no situation should escalate into into this kind of crime that you will eventually commit. Like Piero said, you maybe say, you didn't want to kill, but you want to prove a point. You understand? And that is why a state bring a law that even assault is an offense. Slapping someone is an offense. So talk less of killing someone. But then, as a Gambians, as young people, we need to understand that we must live peacefully, and we must be able to put our point across without being seen as the most strong person, as most powerful person, because I slap him, and some people are even proud of saying that. I actually slapped him. So that's for me that's very key. So what I would suggest with regards to that, also the security forces need to step up. People that are making this kind of attempt, they need to be identified and need to be removed from the society, just like the way they are going after the drug abusers. Let them start identifying. For instance, the guy that killed Latirikunda the other day, many people said, "Of course, Yaga try. If they 1, 2, 3, he will beat people." Somebody that do that normally, there should be a way of removing those people from the community so that we will avert some of this crime, because we cannot sit idly and say that we cannot do anything. We must do something
until when
about
it happens.
Yes, so we must do. If you suspect anybody, they must be removed from the community. That's my perspective.
Okay, interesting. So, Honorable, finally, before we move to the conversation proper.
You have attracted my attention.
Yes.
Okay.
I am indeed surprised that an NPP student president could possibly speak with sincerity and honesty to this extent. Honestly speaking.
That is what is expected of young people.
And I must commend him for that, to be very, very honest. Like, as an individual, when I speak for reason. I do not speak because I want anybody to hate anybody. I am not seeking for popularity or anything. I want to clarify things. the PRO states something very important, that the police have a role, that the security is a wider scope. Security talks about the drugs entering into this country. How is that regulated? Two friends that are sitting in the corner, once they use drug, if they are allowed to use drug and drug entering into the country, who is responsible? It's the security sector that is responsible. And in that aspect, drug must be regulated. Most of the people that are found wanting on killing people, most of them are found using drugs or other related things. Like, for instance, let's go back to Nusambai's case. The one who killed Nusambai, 3 or 4 times he was reported to the police station on attempt murder. You understand? And he was released. On what condition was he released? Now, the police have a responsibility. The government has a responsibility. And the people in the society has a responsibility. But you cannot say 2 friends that are sitting outside, it's your responsibility to protect life and properties of citizens. That is your number 1 primary responsibility. I am not actually laying blame. I am laying the foundation. Because right to life is one of the most important rights so far. If you are alive, then you can talk about freedom of movement, freedom of speech, freedom of this, freedom of that. But once you are dead, you have no other right. So now, I believe we can do it better. The reason as to why we are saying it's not the Gambia that we are used to, because we are not used to this.
But before you make the recommendations,
yes,
like, what is the state of the nation as far as we are concerned in terms of
food security? We are in fear. We are wondering who will be next. And for us, as we stand, we have no faith any longer. To be very, very honest with you, we need to be sincere, and once we identify problem as a problem, then we can think of solution. But if we reject that this is a challenge and this is a problem, when we reject that, we are not facing it, then we will have no solution for it. So as for my part, I believe that we should come all out and also play our part towards securing ourselves in the long run. Now, the police have a role, the drug squad have a role, and everybody has a role. This is why they are separated into different segments. The security sectors are separated. So everybody, it is your responsibility to stop drug. Once you allow drugs to come into the country, anything can happen. Not only do we have drugs, but also crimes, those that constantly commit crime in the society, they should be apprehended and be saved so that you can save people from being killed. Especially attempt murder, 3 to 4 times. These have constantly happened. So I think we need to go back to the drawing board and try to reflect on what we can do better.
Okay, so thank you very much, Honorable, for that. We really set the stage now for the discussion proper. But before that, let us go for a commercial break. After that, we will return and the program will continue. Do stay tuned.
In the vibrant heart of the Gambia, where life pulses with energy and connections bind us together, your number is the key that unlocks a world of possibilities. Whether you're chasing dreams, sharing passions, or simply brightening someone's day, your number matters in the symphony of our daily lives. 2 numbers connect us all. What's your number?
Ami Kole maa ngi ni Craft Market Serekunda may jaay ay malaan ay keyring te suma number mooy 522 7306.
Salaamaaleykum. Aha ko Caterpillar men faali so mi donnam no mama si mi wara ma Kole. Wadu 3 7 3 6 9 44.
Téléphone yi leen bëggoon seen téléphone si ngeen bëgg waaw Alice baa ngi nii waaw yaa booy mooy li ma la doon di waxal ndax soo passé sa grade 9 exam bi dinaa la surprise.
Papa jërëjëf papa kontaan naa papa.
mooy 507 54 45.
jërëjëf papa kontaan naa.
man la Hab Design maa ngi located Safidine man mii maay buur yi ñëwkat yi. dama dee ñëw birthday dress prom suma noo mooy 345 73 77.
Ndelem la ndawo non ha Swiss baba na lafta fe ni malal anna na dalal nan number 3737805
maremu yere ani lasana bangal bitigi aswana yere nomba ke yani 3737181 check me in check me out
Malla Dawda from Tajistan welding la de ligue dama job I bunta I parenter bi moy suma number bi 3855798
man la Bamba borom cuuraay yu neexee lépp lu waay soxla ci wàllu cuuraay boo ñëwee fii suma place da nga ko fekk suma number mooy 319 5188.
ha na number dia la 31 00 875 ha wala na number
Hey, la ilaha illallah masibo mane koro sise. Alo konde, ne kibaro la. Hakulo be bona. Ala fam bama ko gay transporter felentiring, the only transporter in town. Nan QCell number mo minde wala 3070304. Taxi cinema. Nan woni jam. Transport.
Dama dompa sani yere, gamna suma khela panaman. Buma kendi lal wala di ma jege, if not manala ganyu man. Li may faj mong ci xale bi le, mom xam na la ma da. Suma system du do, day mel suma khela pa. Sa suma lagi sul, day mel ni dama ngele man. I'll be singing out of keys, sama gani gana gana gam. Demuma, fen, khamuma, ken, gisuma, len, ludul salo. Kumelio, masuma ko gisman mle. Gisuma, ken, len. Thanks so very much. Why not? Why not? Let's do that.
Oh, can I have your number?
333-3207.
In every corner of the Gambia, the numbers 3 and 5 are more than just digits. They're the gateway connecting us to our dreams. With QCell, your number is more than a contact. It is what keeps you connected to what matters the most. QCell is here to support you every step of the way. QCell, empowering connections and shaping the future of the Gambia.
Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, this is QTV, your dialogue, and I am Julden Jai with my co-host Jacqueline Coley. And you know, from that break, before the break, we had the police PRO talking about the issue, the state of the nation in terms of crime, peace, security, and the institutional reforms. And we had the police PRO saying that they cannot stop the issue of, you know, crime as far as individuals are concerned. And we had also from the National Youth Council saying that, you know, this is about everybody have a role to play as far as this incident is concerned, and it should start from the family level. We also had the issue of, you know, Yusufa saying that, you know, there needs to, it's a societal issue. Concerted efforts are needed as far as, you know, crime is concerned and peace, security in the country. We had Honorable for Fonyi Bintang. He's slightly different because he's saying that members of the security are allowing, in a sense, some of these drugs to enter the country, and he attributed the crimes to drug-related issues, and then saying that we are wondering who the next victim is going to be. Yeah. So interesting conversation, like I said, but before I allow Jacqueline to come on with the question for the PRO, we have, like I promised, National Assembly member for Banjul Central, Honorable Abdullah Njai. He just joined us. Honorable, welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much. My apologies for coming late.
We understand.
From unforeseen circumstances.
Yes, thank you very much. So, Jacqueline, PROs like they cannot do much as far as this is concerned. No, the issue of stabbings.
Exactly, and then I think he did mention that just because people are stabbing each other.
Yes.
And the IGP did mention in his in the press conference that it is basically domestic. That these stabbings are domestic. It's not a gang. It's not gang related. It's not a state crime and stuff like that. But how would you convince the Gambian out there who's saying the Gambia is no longer secure that these are just domestic things? It doesn't happen like countrywide.
Okay, this is very simple because the issue is we have to be realistic. Like the Honorable Member said, we have to be realistic in whatever we are saying because we are serving the public. You understand what I'm saying? We are not going to just say things because we want people to be happy with us. You have to state it as it is. How is it possible you can stop two people who fought in a house, in their household, spontaneously stab each other? How can the police even be aware of that? How can the police, because before even anybody is aware of that, these are domestic issues. When two people have issues in their house or business or anywhere private, and somebody picks a knife, at that point, how can the police stop that from happening? So this can constitute insecurity in this country, because these are between two people in their private environment having to have altercation and led to that. It's different when people are in their streets. You understand? People in the street, they cannot go about their businesses, you know, they cannot sell, they cannot do that, because there are people who are after them, gangs or whatsoever, trying to kill them, as we can say, or whatsoever. So this is the difference. And again, we have to look at, we are not saying in general there is no crime. We cannot say that there is no crime. We try as much as possible to reduce the incident of criminal activity that are happening. The honorable member have said it here, that he attributes most of the criminal activities to drug. As far as we know, the stabbing cases, as far as we know, there is no indication of drug abuse or drug use.
I was going to ask that.
You understand?
If there are any
Yes.
analysis.
So we cannot establish that. You understand? But this is a perception. You know why? Because of access to information. It's very easy today. When things happen here, just now, within seconds, the entire country, and people are like, hey, mo fa be siarin. Juma le juma fa. You can flow song kata murusi kan nyo busa nyo fa. How that is? Will you fight with somebody? What I'm trying to say is, people need to understand the situation, the security situation. You have to put yourself. Your safety is you. If you have a problem with somebody, should you address it that way? Should you altercate with people? There are procedures, there are processes in our communities. Even the state has put up issues, and that is the Gambia Police Force. When you have problem, you can go to the police or you go to the courts, because we have civil and criminal litigation. If it is civil contract between you and somebody and he did not honor, go to court, summon the person. That is one. You understand? With respect to drug, we are aware there are incidents of petty drugs running here and there. People are arrested with tie and the rest of that. You understand? But generally speaking, we have not. The only drug-related crimes that we've been seeing were with the coups. You remember the coups? When we had the coups incident, people take coups, and of recent we see people taking coups, and their tongues and everything, right? And people who put tablets or whatsoever in a drink in clubs, and they drink it, at the end of the day, they fall down, they're taken to the hospital, they kill themselves. We understand from his point of view. We are talking from the security point of view as respect to crime, insecurity. All of this cannot constitute insecurity, because insecurity is just beyond just two people. And one, our responsibility is to provide security for the state. We cannot be everywhere. You talked about where two people are sitting down in their compound or in the dungeons and all of that. This is why we have our patrols, our visibility patrols, where we go around corners. When we find people at certain time of the night in certain junction or certain places, we ask them, why are they there? If there is no reason for them to be there, we ask them to disperse.
That's right.
But what people need to understand is there are laws and procedures in this country.
Okay.
The police cannot just decide to, like he mentioned, to pick certain number of people and hide them or keep them. He mentioned the person who is alleged to have murdered Yusuf Nusai has stabbed people. What we receive is stab, not murder or alleged murder or attempted murder. Because stabbing has different category. You can have what we call assault causing grievous or bodily harm. So it depends on the category. Stabbing somebody does not mean you kill somebody or you attempted to murder the person. We have reports of that, yes. But does that constitute, or those reports constitute alleged murder or suspected murder? So these are facts. Sometimes when things happen, people just come up. I personally only saw it or knew about it when the alleged murder incident was reported. That this person even, was arrested or was reported to have stabbed previously.
But isn't assault causing body harm a crime?
Exactly.
It is a crime, yes.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is the crime is, now you have to understand, what is the crime? It's between who and who. You, for example, you and your husband, you and your boyfriend, you and your friend, your sister in the compound, you stab each other or you fought.
Okay.
It's a crime.
That is understood.
No, what I'm saying
that is understood. But now let's move on, okay? What I'm saying now, okay, you did mention, but we need to know the underlying factors. He attributed it to, the drugs coming in, porous borders and all that. And we know drugs are coming in because every now and then we report it in the news. It's a fact. Drugs are in the country and in large numbers. That is a fact. It's not like someone is making it up. But now, what is the underlying factors as far as these murder cases are concerned, as part of your police investigations? What are you able to come and what have you come up to say that, okay, these are the reasons why these stabbings happened. Were you able to do any as part of
it? It's very clear. We've said it from the beginning. Maybe you were not listening because you are trying to look at a point. What caused now the altercation? Whether, why is the person able to take a knife and pick? I cannot answer that question. Like, because who can answer that question? Whether because he has taken a drug. I said there was no indication at the time, investigation, that these people who stab each other use drug.
So what is the underlying factor?
No, wait,
we just want to get somewhere. No, you cannot rescue the police. We want them to rescue themselves. You cannot rescue.
I think
you cannot rescue
to what he was saying. I think you are clearly saying that it is domestic. Clearly out of
as part of your investigation. Now let's take us through.
So are you saying, for example,
investigations, and when you conduct investigations, then do you have, as part of your job, analyze the state of the person, like who committed that crime? Do you go to take medical reports to know what exactly happened? Like, these are the questions that we want to know. Are you, like, do you, as part of your investigation, because I know that the police also conduct prosecutions. No, you cannot rescue the police. Yusufa, your own issue is coming. Police, yes, we want to understand.
Now, this is simple. Like I said, none of the investigation indicated that they were under the influence of intoxicant. You understand? So we are unable to attribute drug or drug related to the stabbing. This is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like, look at the incident of the electrician and the owner of the driver. You understand what I'm trying to say? If these people, for one reason or other, did not agree and resulted to fighting, we do not attribute, because this person is only able to stab this person because he has taken intoxicant. He is intoxicated. It's not with his senses. That was not established. The person who used from by incident, there was no establishment that the person who stabbed him or took drug. That's why he was unable to unstab. The incident that happened, the channel interlending incident, the people who fought over channel football or whatsoever. There was no indication of it. I'm telling you, these are domestic in the households. And the police, to be honest, we cannot be in everybody's compound. We cannot be in everybody's apartment. We are not going to sit here and just try to massage the truth and say people are stabbing each other in their homes and in their house. We are going to prevent it from happening. We cannot. Imagine just day before yesterday, in the night, I received a call from Tabokoto. A lady called me, said, please, is this the police? I said, yes. He said, please help us. He said, we are here, these people, your family can come, cutlass, matches, and whatsoever. I said, yes, we'll call. Then there was a station at Tabokoto, our officers, PIU. So we sent those people to respond. Then he called back to confirm, I said, what happened? He said, these people, iko for motole binaka mba elampule loekang. Elampule loekang, so as a result, if funte kamfaka wakama. Can you imagine? Lampo ni atabe tambika ne moto lampo. For how long will moto lampo betarlekan silokang? That's number one. Number two, nabe pakane. For how long will moto lampo betarlekan? Look at the intolerance. That's one. Two, ite be siribinto lebe silo le kam moto etaraje. Tan ni be la korda ko yela bunkono moto lampoti na membe de la fete kamfa fete. What is happening? These are the things that we are asking.
So that's
but
the
now you cannot say
ni
wole fangota nyo busa wotem moto je nyofa. How can you say that is insecurity? That amounts to insecurity, that the police or the state is not providing security to people.
But there is a question that needs to be answered, and I think that question has not been answered. And that is, why is this happening? Because there is an underlying factor that is resulting.
Maybe you can help. Answer the question.
No, it's a national issue, and I think we have to a national discussion
as
to where to start.
People fight. People don't have.
But we cannot normalize it every week. This week alone, from Saturday to this, we have 2 murder cases.
So you think you can stop people from arguing?
The has actually made justice to his case. He has tried his best to, because
you are not the judge of that. Yusufa, I will take you out of this plan. You are not the judge of that. We are talking about national issues, and we need to.
Police job stop at arresting and prosecuting people.
By who said?
Okay, and then for me, what we need to do about this, we will take one from him that these are domestic issues that happen in the house.
Yeah.
For my own concern is both our legal system. Okay. Some of these cases need to be expedited. If people commit crimes and the person taken to court, we should find a way not to take in that matter taking more than 1 or 2 years. Within few years, some of these cases need to be resolved. Because in the eyes of public, allowing the alleged murderer keep dragging the matter, going back and forth, it angers people. And it prosecuting and sentencing people to prison, if it's a death or whatever, I do not want to assume that they are guilty, because the court is yet to make a pronouncement.
Right.
But I believe our legal system needs to be looked into. Our judges also need to pay attention. And our lawyers need to pay attention. They should not allow some of these cases to take longer than necessary, because that will serve as a deterrent. The fact that it's happening in the houses, somebody just heard that they said they have been sentenced Mr. A to life imprisonment or firing squad or whatever, and then probably government remove this moratorium and they shoot people alive. Probably that will serve as a deterrent for some of those people. That, because the bottom line is, the deterrent is very important right now.
The trials so that the people will not be angry, than for them to take their time to ensure that justice is served.
Yes, because at the end of the day, every nation has its own security situation at a particular point in time. Ken Hamud ki what is happening? Ken Hamud fumedem. Do you understand? So we have to find a way of cutting off immediately. And the only way out, security, I'm sure they know better. I mean, one thing I give to Gambian police force is, anytime these kind of crimes are committed, they arrest people and they take them to court. What take time normally is the prosecution, the going and back, until we get sentenced. Just I think last week we've seen they sentenced one guy that killed someone in Burfoot.
Yes.
So we welcome those kind of development. But then as we sat here, even those who are perceived to be killing these people, we cannot actually call them murderer. We can only call them alleged murderer.
Yes.
So for me, yes, of course, he said there is a law in this country, which is right. Whatever law police need to review and propose to the parliament and for
exactly.
review.
Now I'm coming to, thank you for that. I'm coming to the National Assembly. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Yusufa. I'm coming to the National Assembly member for Banjul Central, because we're getting somewhere, recommendations. Because, you know what, because I spoke to, the other day we were at this morning, and Mr. Moy was like, man balama Jules, balama dega, murder case, unko wahe this year, balama ko dega, daf de jail time. But now, in a month, we are saying that there is 5 murder cases happening in just 1 month.
Just 1 month.
Just 1 month. And you wonder, like, what is happening? We know social media is here, and now people have access to all this information and all that. But Gambia is also, let's not forget, it's small. If something happens in Banjo, before morning, it gets to Basse. That's just a reality. So let's not pin it on social media, the advent of social media and all of that. There is serious issues that are happening. Now, the National Assembly, what is the role of the National Assembly? You know, what can you do as far as the state of the nation is concerned currently?
Thank you very much. I think that's a very important question. Yeah, at the level of the National Assembly, I think it's very important to make a clarity, because a lot of times people do misconstrue some of the roles and responsibilities that we actually harness. Sometimes then people want the National Assembly to work as the NYC, to be the police, to be the judicial, personnel and everything all in one. You understand? Our main role and responsibility is to legislate, is to perform oversight. You understand, and also to scrutinize anything that's pertaining to, when it comes to fiscal issues, government expenditure. When it comes to oversight, how judicious are our state functions, state operations, how functional they are, among other things that we're doing. So we have dual or multiple roles. But in the Gambia, we also have other sectors that are also very relevant to the operation of the Gambia, including the Gambia Police Force and stuff like that. So we cannot come and tell them exactly what to do. Based on our own level, there are a lot of ways that we actually can work and improve our efficiency to make sure that their roles and responsibilities also are much easier. I think my right honorable member can attest to it. When these things started to prevail, the first thing we did was we call off a matter of the day, which was introduced by a member of parliament. That particular matter of the day, we delve deep into exactly all these things that you've noted. You understand? To be honest, I think we can't sit here and say that we actually know what the root cause is. I think that would be very untrue, basically, because the factors are multifaceted. You understand? Because you cannot take someone's, ill management based on their environment or what their mood was and stuff like that, and then he perpetrated a particular incident, and then you will say that it's the Gambia Police Force or it's the National Assembly or it's the government of the Gambia. Like he made mention, he rightly put it. Some of these things are domestic issues. You understand? And just to highlight, based on what I met you guys saying, the incident that happened in Fajara actually happened in my doorstep. It's just a few, not even meters, few steps away from my residence. You understand? I actually found out that, that this particular culprit actually had stabbed 4 other people prior to this particular incident. You understand? And immediately what happened is, in as much as we are very critical of government on certain things, the entire neighborhood was actually questioning, why do you have to let this person, you know, sit with you guys after stabbing 4 people within your midst? Why are you letting him sit with you, brewing attire with you and stuff like that, when you know that he has particular mental issues, or you know, he's mentally deranged, or you understand? So I think there's also this, like you mentioned, this community policing that also need to be emphasized when it comes to our shared responsibility. Because definitely we are public officials. We are always, when things happen, you know, we are the ones that should be held responsible for certain things. But I think also there's a lack of civic awareness and civic responsibility among us, the citizenry. And I think both these things go hand in hand.
Exactly.
These are the things that we
they're very important, because you see, the issue is when we normalize the abnormal. And for the fact that, you know, you stab, Julde stabs Jacqueline, God forbid, and then you say it's a stabbing incident, and then it goes to the police, and then Julde is detained. Harit lañ, you know, the maslaha syndrome and all of that. Harit lañ balal ko, du ko defar mu bay ko. The second time it happens, it goes to the police, nothing comes out of it until the 4th time. Before you know it, somebody is dead. And then, exactly.
When we were deliberating, in your first deliberation, you did mention that you had issues like that in the UTG, where they will fight, and the person will take something and hit the other person, and they go to the police, and you will go and intervene. So why should that be? Because assault causing body harm is a crime.
It's a crime.
Should they not be prosecuted? Why do the police allow people to come and negotiate and let the people go? Should that be, Mr. Piero?
Yes, so there are instances where, yes, we allow negotiations in those circumstances.
Instances such as?
You know, I can't sit here and say this and this and that.
But you allow negotiations to happen.
Yes, there are instances where people would come and negotiate based on what they believe to have occurred. You understand? And we know the Gambia, we have to be realistic. Boy, people have, husband and wife would have problems. Brothers and sisters would have problems. These are family issues. You know, Burma is a crime. That is, what is committed is a crime, right? Look at the UTG. UTG, what happened there? This is student whatever. At that point in time, let's be realistic. With that tension that was happening at that time, for one reason or the other, they had altercations and they had issues. Police went there to maintain the peace. They were taken to the station, and he was kept. You understand what I mean? Then, you know, people went around and all of that, and it got to a level, it's like, okay, at this point, we think this was a mistake, like they mentioned, it was a mistake among themselves, and they think they will be able to handle this. It's an institution. You understand? And when we got to a level where these two parties, in as much as it's a crime, but that we are able to mend the relation to ensure that this student union is able to work with the UTG executive to ensure that this is resolved, we allow that process to also go. In the event that a husband and a wife has issues, people will come, you family quality, give us time for us to find, because alcohol we normalize, it's normal, but legally it's a crime. Are you telling us, okay, when situations like that happen, you understand, and people come, so we have to say, no, because we know the complication to that. Futu bangole, because muso ya case about police, futu bangole dingol are involved and all other that. We know the complication that develop from divorce and everything. So we have to look at things in general.
Whatever comes to the police as a crime should not be negotiated. Who else here agrees with me? Crime should not be negotiated, is it?
Should it be negotiated?
Should it be negotiated?
Honorable, the law makes.
Believe that we need to change
no,
the way we do
Yusuf, I'm coming to you. Honorable, should it be negotiated?
For my opinion, the law is the law, and whatever is taken to police requires law's attention. And also, why does the law matter? The law is there to protect every individual. Yes. Now, the other issue that happens, you are talking about wife and husband. These are separate from other crimes. Now, you are talking about also the students of the university. They are in an institution where students may not want to miss marks, and they may be regulated through marks, where students may not want to be dismissed from the university. That is a way of regulating them. And there they can be managed, they can be regulated. But in a society where someone stabs somebody, one, taken to police, release, second time, stab again, another person, different, taken to police, release, third time, stab somebody again, the same person, for similar crimes, and you still release that individual. I cannot understand on what basis is this happening. And note, PRO, these are things that you people should be serious about. And these are things that you should be sensitive of. Because crime is everybody's responsibility to protect it. Because today, your child, your wife, my wife, your friend, my friend, are all living in the same society. So now if you allow that guy to go, you will not even notice it. Once the police release someone, and it may happen to your wife, it may happen to my wife, it may happen to your child, or my relative, or any Gambian, because the life of every Gambian matters. So this is what we should jump up to and definitely try to protect our lives.
Before you come, you will not forget. You will not forget. That is why we are here. No, Piaro, I'm not giving you this one. Mr. Jaju, yes? You won't forget. We are here for that.
For me, last week I was on Mr. Mboji's show on radio.
Okay.
And as every other Gambian, I believed what was happening was drug-related. And Mr. Mboj corrected me that the PRO was on the same show and gave evidence that what is happening, most of those cases don't relate to drugs. So for me...
That is the drive time show on QQ Radio. Okay.
Yes, according to the PRO.
According to the PRO.
According to the PRO. So for me, he has the facts. I don't have the facts.
How do you know that he has the facts? He's a stakeholder.
No, he's not necessarily a stakeholder, but they are the one on the ground. I was never there to check.
But he just mentioned that their investigation, they are not doing investigation. As part of their investigation, they are not doing the circumstances.
No, that's the next point I'm coming to.
Exactly.
The fact that they are not related, we should then begin to profile. Now, all the perpetrators, what do they have in common? Are they jobless?
Exactly. That is what I was talking about.
Are they people merely on the street? Are they people who use drugs? You know, are they people that don't have a skill, you know, at all? We need to begin to profile, you know, who these people are committing crimes, and maybe when we begin to profile who the people are, who committed like the 5 incidences that we have, when we begin to profile all the 5 and see that they all belong to one category, that can now be used as an underlying. But for me, on Mr. Mboji's show, what I said was it's drugs, but he corrected me.
To say that
it's
the
not PRO, the police that have the evidence are telling us that they are not drug related. So because they have the evidence, I would rather drop my anecdotal evidence and go with theirs. But I also want to really appeal that we really need to profile the people who are committing these crimes. Let's profile them. Let's know what they have in common. Once we know what they all have in common, I think it's going to help us.
Absolutely, because we can't continue with the excuse that these are domestic, we cannot do much. Of course, there is something we can do as a society. You know, that is why I said when the abnormal becomes the normal, then you don't know where to start. But this is one way.
At the places these things happen and they attribute
exactly.
to
So, but there is. So now, let's start with who is doing what and who is not doing what. The Gambia Police Force, your mandate is to protect lives and property.
Right.
Are you protecting lives and property? What are your constraints? What is wrong? What is really happening at the Gambia Police Force? Because you are painting it as all perfect. We know it's not perfect, PRO. But what are your challenges? What are the issues that are not going right? We need to have this honest national discussion to move forward.
So yes, thank you very much. I think you really need to listen to what I say, because I believe that there is misunderstanding.
Okay.
So investigation is an ongoing matter.
Yes.
And I think we need to understand this. And at the time that I'm speaking, I'm giving based on the facts at the time.
Okay.
And when incident occur, we have our flash reports, we have our updates. So, and I'm saying, based on our investigation, we are not saying that they have not taken drugs because we have not medically tested them, they are urine or whatsoever. What we are saying is the information we received so far, based on what happened, there is no indication of drugs.
We understand. We move to that. We move to that discussion now.
That is one.
Yes.
And the fact that yes, there is nothing we can do about this. We are saying at the level of the police.
Yes.
We are not saying as a country, as a government. Because
we know.
No. I want it to be clear because I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you.
Of the police,
no.
We know.
Why I'm repeating this is important because you are more or less repeating what people say at the end of the day, summarizing what our position is. And when you say there is nothing we can do about this, then you have to be specific. Because
I said the PRO said there is nothing much they can do, or there's nothing they can do about this, and that is what you said.
Yes,
my question is, we moved from the issue of the drugs and the attribution, because you did mention that as part of your investigation, you don't do that. We understand, that is clear, but now, what are the constraints that is facing the Gambia Police Force?
Okay.
What needs to be adjusted?
So the level of the Gambia Police Force, I mean, there is a lot. The Gambia Police Force does a lot. You know, we are responsible for the internal security of this country. That's a big job. That's not child's play. You know, and it goes to prevention of crime. That's the most important. Behind the scene, Koros, he was talking about community policing. Someone talked about this. But one thing people need to understand first is the function of the Gambia Police Force is enforcement of the law. That's the primarily enforcement of the law. Our responsibility is not to discipline people. Our responsibility is not to ensure whether people are disciplined or not. Our responsibility is, one, to prevent crime from committing. That is to be where people are, so that when people see us, they are afraid to commit crimes, because when they do commit crime, they will be arrested. That is the preventive part of it. And we went even
those crimes are negotiated.
Wait. Listen. We have to be realistic. He talked about.
I told you, you cannot be the judge here. Let
me.
answer.
So what I'm saying?
Because he said their main priority is to enforce the law. So why should crime be negotiated?
So if you talk about negotiation, which honorable members spoke about, and he differentiated different crimes, I think that's double standard then, because when we say crime, everything is crime now. Then you don't have to differentiate whether it's school or institutional. They have other means of regulating.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? We have to be realistic to our social cultures and our society as a whole. These are the people that we are serving. That's obvious. Everywhere we are, this is a country. And we have structures in place where sometimes the alcalde or the CFO can say, I can be able to handle this. Because you are just looking at Combo maybe, but we are beyond Combo. We are up to Basse. And we need to understand the realities on the ground, because these are the people that we are dealing with. These are the people we are asking local authorities to work with us in terms of security, because there are more serious ones. Yes, somebody might have stabbed somebody. For example, that is reported to a police station, and for the first time that is reported, what they are saying that this person has stabbed somebody or 4 people. As far as I know, like I said, I only heard of it at that time, but there is no evidence to suggest that whether those stabbing, what is the level of the stab in terms of grievous bodily harm or whatsoever. But that is that. Coming back to your specific question. Like I said, the Gambia Police Force is prevention, and we go beyond that in also advocacy. The community policing just this month went on nationwide tour with our human rights and professional standard unit, with our child and protection unit, with also the police intervention unit, to talk to people, to talk to students, to talk to the communities, the role of the police, for people to understand. Because we say ignorance of the law is not an excuse.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? That's what we believe in.
And most of the people,
most of the people in this country hardly, because of the level of literacy, do not know some of this simple. If you slap me, that's an assault. If I slap you back, that's an affray. That's now. Because it looks like everybody.
Not because I'm giving too much time to him. He is at a critical, institution. He is at a critical institution, and we need to diagnose the problem to understand really where to start.
And
the purpose of this
is
to understand where to start, the recommendations where to go as a society. We know that we understand that the societal issues, pressure, norms, cultures, we know. Like I mentioned, we normalize the abnormal, but now we have to remove that if we really want to progress as a society. So in removing that, we have to accept the institutional inefficiencies that are happening in the country. The Maslaha syndrome should be removed. You know, the negotiation as far as crimes happen should be removed as part of the solutions. So, but also the National Youth Council also have a role to play.
I did not finish the...
I know you don't finish, but I'm not giving you the stage now. I know you don't finish. You can never finish PRO.
No, but this is important.
It's
small problem. Small problem. Let me watch small problem. I'm not solo. Suñ problem. Hara watch suñ problem. I'm not solo. Understand? Wala nga luy suñ problem. Li tax loo xam ne mun naa am duñ mun a def suñ liggéey bi yëpp nuñ waree. Loolu bari na. Understand? Logistics is one of the most important. As assembly mu ngi fi. Understand? Comme noo ko waxee, it's an opportunity for us. Ñu suñ budget bi daf dee. Suñ budget bi dafa dee dem. Understand? People were asking us after the Sucre Jaba incident. They thought every police officer would be armed. You know, that's what they thought. People will always ask us because, you know, you can be shot at any point in time. And people are saying, you know, when somebody is armed and you call the police, it doesn't have, what do we do? You understand what I'm saying? But like I said, we don't make the laws. The laws are here. The laws tell us, you know, the police, this is where you should stop. These are the police officers who should be armed. And those have implications, budget implications, resources, and all of that. You know, so we need to understand all of these things. Number 2, vehicles. Vehicles. National Assembly members should give us, I don't know whether they are the ones, but they should give us at least the budget to be able to buy 200, 300, even 1,000 vehicles from Gambia Police Force. The IGP just at the press conference confirmed, yes, there are police stations that do not have vehicles in this country.
Is a challenge.
That is a real challenge. You understand what I'm trying to say? And when we have vehicles in this police station also, then how to maintain that fuel in them? You know, so these are some of the challenges, and we are trying as much as possible to change from the past. We understand that, you know, police officers used to be involved in so many, you know, extracurricular issues in terms of being alleged to have committed crimes and all of that, and we're trying to see those people who are, you know, I guess we try as much as possible also to
even take measures against their own police work.
You understand what I'm saying?
So now the National Assembly, we are coming to you because you also have a bigger role to play. But unfortunately, what I'm seeing at the National Assembly is all about party politics there. Let's be honest. When national issues arise, all we talk about is party politics and all of that. You have a role to play. Institutions like the Gambia Police Force, the moment they have a challenge, is a problem. And it affects every part of society. So now, are you also, as part of the National Assembly members, are you doing your work, you know, for the nation? Or are you doing it for party interests? What comes first in your debates? And, you know, let's look at, because I do report on parliaments, and I know that some of the debates, sometimes I'm shaking my, like with all the things that are happening in the country, is this what you're talking about?
Thank you. Thank you for the wonderful question. One of the things that I can tell you, I am a very, very independent personality. I have no affiliation to any political party as far as I know. And alhamdulillah, he is also an independent member of parliament. Okay. So probably it's for other members, that is NPP and others. That's
they are not here, but they are youth.
Yeah, they are youth. The other thing which the PRO mentioned, which is serious, and we made that recommendation with the Human Rights and Constitutional Matter Committee when we went around, that you cannot have police station without guns. You understand? Without any arm or whatever. You see now, for instance, in Farafenye, if the armed robbers are to come, the police will have to run to save themselves. That is the only thing that they can do, because the kind of guns that you have there, they are from 1965 to date, and those ones can't even function. So now you have a police force without an arm. Now that becomes a challenge, and we should try to arm them, and that was the recommendation that we made last time. But also, when you talk about the budget, we have budget constraint in all the ministries in the country. You know, some of the time the people view that the National Assembly can add or decrease, and no, the Ministry of Finance will come and tell us the budget for this year is 54 billion. And out of that 54 billion, they already distributed among all the ministries based on their need. You understand? Now, we taking it, they can only say this is what the appropriation is, and we cannot add, we cannot say we will budget for 56 billion, because of we can only quote our quote according to our size. Now, we only have to budget based on the 54 billion that we have. And out of that 54 billion, there is much rationality that are needed. The health facility will come and cry. Education will come and cry. Youth and sport will come and cry. Now, Minister of Women and whatever will come and cry. Now, based on that, we rationalize it as much as possible, because sometimes this is what the Minister of Finance can produce, and this is what they estimate it for the upcoming year. And based on that, that is what the budget is based on. But as far as I know, every year, as maybe it may be 5 or 4 or 2, we normally have extra allocation for the Ministry of Interior. But the Ministry of Interior is also very vast. You have the police, you have the paramilitaries, for instance, you have the prison, fire service, you have the prisons, and so on and so forth, which becomes a serious challenge.
Institutions.
So for me as an individual, this is why I was serious for the National Assembly to a certain extent to cut their spending. Because when I looked at the ministries and what they go through, that is the very reason as to why I went against National Assembly salary increment and other related things.
But if you cannot add, then your oversight function, there is something wrong there. For
we
instance,
we always add.
You add?
We add based on what we have, because we cut.
Increment. But do you also look at priority areas? Because it seems like the budget is going to salaries, purchasing of goods, materials, vehicles, and all of that. Do you also consider that?
Salaries first.
Honorable?
I think that's a very good point. In my own personal observation, I think there was a point the Minister for Public Service, I remember posting a question when it comes to this constant salary increments. Can't we just have a structure that will be based on wants grading. So those that are, you know, in the higher grades can be able to have certain increments based on a particular percentage, and those that are in the lower echelon, you know, can, for example, if I'm earning $1 million, maybe if I am to have an increment, it might be just 1 or 2%. But if at all he is like way down there, probably there might be even a 50% increment, whereby it will be structural. That's what we've been advocating for. Because the thing is, in as much as government is doing their level best, because I think sometimes it's just a bit emotional based on what I see. You know, when you are in government, sometimes when the people tend to cry all the time, you want to satisfy everyone. But the constant salary increments, are they actually, we're going through a budget deficit as we speak. You understand? And actually this is to the benefit of the citizenry, the civil service actually. But is it yielding any dividend for government in the long run? This is something that we have to look at. But based on your question, when it comes to the allocations, we make constant increments across the board, I would say. But like he said, we always have challenges because there are multi-sectors, and each sector, you know, just like the police, all the other sectors have their own ailments. You understand? So that's why we are also segmented in different committees. Like in the Committee of Education, I'm in Public Enterprise Committee. There's someone in you know, Health Committee and stuff like that. So these committees really help Assembly because they're able to perform oversight, able to have institutional tours to know exactly what are the ailments of these particular individual sectors. So when they come in with their reports, when we are at budget session, each committee or committee member will be able to effectively, you know, defend that particular sector to make sure that they have the required allocation. So
let's move now, Jacqueline, to Youth Council. What are they doing?
Exactly. What are you doing?
By we can take the responsibility.
I've said this before, that we've developed a national action plan on youth peace and security.
But aside what is it about? What does it entail?
I referred back that the UN said every country needs to ensure that young people are part and parcel of the processes of ensuring there is peace and security in every nation.
Exactly.
That you cannot maintain peace and security in the long run without young people.
Right.
So if you want to sustain peace and security for the next 50 years, you start with the young people. Because by the next 25 years, they become, you know, people that take decisions. If they don't understand what it takes to maintain peace and security, 25 years down the line, you're going to have a challenge.
But is that the case in the Gambia?
Whether it's the case in the Gambia or not, it's a different thing altogether. But as I said, we want to ensure that there is peace today, but there is peace in the next 25 years or in the next 50 years. And you start with the young people, and their role starts now. You're not waiting.
Are they involved, young people? Are they
That's
involved in decision making?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, of course,
Are they
yes.
involved in
young
every
people
facet of national development?
Young people are involved in decision making. Now, involvement is at different levels. What do you call involvement is all different. You cannot have everyone sitting on the table when we are making decisions. So it's representative. You know, as a council, we are out there to represent young people within government structures. And in almost all projects that have a bearing on young people, a project steering committee or national steering committee, there is always a young person that sits there representing every other young person within the country. So of course, there is some level of representation. When it comes to youth political participation, I know we started running our Not Too Young to Run campaign. And we are happy that in 2017, the number we had was 102. In the last elections, we had a 19%. You know, of young people within the assembly. We did far better than the women. You know, the women went down, our number as young people went up. And this we want to attribute to a lot of activism that we have done. Encouraging young people to be part of political parties. We have parties now having, you know, students from universities. Initially, you ask university students to be part of political parties. They're like, political mom, ninko bae pai. Now we have the main parties, UDP having a student wing, and of course the NPP having a student wing. I don't know which other party, and these are all university students, quite vibrant. And you know, we're hopeful that, you know, from university they move into party structures. But initially, you don't find young people within party structures, or even if you find them there, they don't have the required capacity or the potential it takes to be able to elevate them further. But with a lot of activism, we have seen a lot of change, in some of these things. But we continue to advocate for peace and security. Elections are coming this year.
Yes, very important.
And we're going down the field with the support of our partners. We're going down the field. We've done force. The first one we did was talking to young people to come out because there was some supplementary voter registration. So those that were less than 18 during the last one, and those that who have lost their voters card, we went around the whole country, radio or symposiums, asking them to come out and go get a voters card, because this is where the decisions are done. Our next level will be going out before the elections, asking them to come out and vote, but also maintaining decorum before elections, during the election, and of course post elections. That is important that as young people we are able to maintain peace and security throughout the electoral cycle. Beyond just voting, we have a role to ensure that we are able to maintain peace. And if political parties are aggrieved, let them go to the court, and let them not call us out as young people to say go out to the street and cause violence, as we have seen in other countries. I would not want to name names where young people have been asked to come out in their large numbers in the name of a political a particular individual or a political party, and we have seen deaths. And for some, they've been maimed to an extent that probably you would have even preferred to die than even living. So our role is going out there and continuing to ask young people to really maintain decorum, especially during the upcoming elections.
Yusuf, the role of the youth wing, what are some of the priority areas for young people at NPP? I heard the president went to attended your youth Bantaba last week.
That's correct.
It should be a national youth convergence where the president will come and answer the questions of young people, not just the NPP.
That's very correct. Actually, the idea was, that was a initial plan, which was supposed to be held in Sadauda. But unfortunately, the year 2025, the early year 2026, we become so busy for the president. And then as a result, we could not. But when we decided to do this, we reached out and it was automatically granted. And then the 100% preparatory was done by us ourselves, the students. Though we call it MPP students being Bantaba, does not necessarily mean we only invited people from MPP. We actually invite all the tertiary institution executives, and we informed them to nominate a number of people from University of the Gambia, GTTI, MDI now, Civil Service University, College, and Hadigala, and other private institutions that are here. We invited all of them. I think we have over 500 participants on that day. The idea was to have the student, not only young people, but the student to have an interface with the presidents, to ask some germane questions, and also interact with the leadership of a country, to know that the leaders are just like us. They all go through what we go through, and then president shared some of his, childhoodness with us, the stories that, how he grew, and then where he lived, and then, of course, 40 years after he's traveling all the way from Basel to attend the Independence Day in 70s, and 40 years later he's addressing Gambia as the President of the Republic before the very former president that, when he was very, very young and looking up to. So those were very exciting moments for us.
For the youth wing, what are some of the issues
But for us as a student and youth as well, we believe that our participation is very key, just like what our executive director says. We're able to have many young people in the parliament, not only in the parliament, but in a leadership position. Gambian parliament is literally run by young people now. Because if you also look at the many issues that are going on in the country, and many a time when youths got up and get frustrated, our member of parliament come to our aid because they understand how we feel. In many cases, they take a very rational decisions in the parliament. For example, when I talked about the female genital mutilation, when the country was rising up, they come up and say, let's bring it down. Let's use it. So for me, those are the kind of things that I think is very, very important. And as for us, those of us that are in political parties now, I hope we continue. At the end of the day, what I always told people is we cannot be hand over power. We must make our hands dirty. as young people. And we also must remove that idea that those who are in political parties or those of us that are in the leadership in our political parties are getting money, they are paying us to defend them. Nobody pay anybody to defend anybody. We went to schools. We know what is good for this country.
Yes.
When I was coming to sit here, I didn't request for approval of anybody. I come and say my thoughts. I'm a Gambian.
Exactly.
So we are expected to be the same way. So my fellow youth, we should see it that way.
Yes.
We should be rational in our thinking. We should know that if we stay away from political activities and and stay away from getting involved, what end up happening is people that are not supposed to be in power are going to be in power. And if that happens, we all know what that means. That's why many people have an issue with a lot of people. They say this person is not supposed to be there. But the reality is, when I got up and said I want to do this, those who follow me, you don't expect me to get in the office and leave them behind. I can't. So those of us that are young people, we should know that we should be able to sacrifice some of our lucrative jobs. We said, my name is my degree, my top politician. And in political activism, you don't get money. You just have to work hard. You know, you don't get. Exactly. For example, our MPP students activity that we did, it was surprised everybody to know that MPP as a party pay nothing. 100% provided by the student wing. And many people will not believe that because we want to show our commitment to our party. It's our party. We believe in the principle and the philosophy of our political party. Regardless of what anybody think of our party, we should be able to stand up to our party and make sure that we promote our party. And that's what we are doing. I don't know.
Especially if it is there for national interest.
For national interest.
I don't mean to drag us behind.
Yeah. So
just
5 minutes.
Just one question.
We have 2 minutes.
I want to say quickly about what we call, there's something that I wanted to say before. I think that's about the Maslaha syndrome.
Yeah.
You know, this Maslaha syndrome for me is something that we need to look into. I remember in UTG, I just want to share this story so that we know that when we enforce laws, it actually prevents. When there was a time in UTG when we just moved to Faraba, we had an issue. People were fighting about the balls and all sort of things. So when we want to investigate those who are fighting and beating each other and even threatening the driver of joining him to drive the vehicle away. So we investigate these people and we punish them. And when we, in the process, some people say we cannot do anything, it's our student matter, but we are able to do something about it. Okay. I don't know if the management stood by us. I think that helped us a lot to reduce some of these people getting angry and annoyed. Because you do things because when you know that there's no punishment come afterward.
Thank you, Yusuf. I really want to, because we can have as many hours as possible, but we will not exhaust this conversation for the fact that it's a national conversation. You cannot exhaust it. But I'm glad that at least we have few recommendations coming from here and there, and the police, National Assembly, take note of the concerns of the police and the young people as well. We all have a role to play as far as Gambia is concerned. I know we will agree to disagree and all of that, but it is all geared towards making sure that we have a peaceful, prosperous Gambia. It's not a witch hunt against anybody, but we need to have these critical conversations in order to move as a country. This uncomfortable conversation. Jacqueline, well,
since there's no time to ask my final question, it's been a very productive evening.
Exactly.
We've had so many good conversations.
Yeah, but hopefully we can have part 2.
To the wall a little.
Can we have a commitment for all of you to come back?
I just want to say something.
No, we don't have time, PRO. Maybe we'll come back for part 2. Can we do that? Can we come for part 2, PRO? There is no time.
We have a part 2.
Okay, there is time. And I need to do my farewell. Yeah, it's the end of the road for me as far as the youth dialogue is concerned. That is why Jacqueline is here to serve as the co-host, and subsequently she will be handling the youth dialogue. But nonetheless, I'll be on the background supporting young people, youth matters, and the Gambia. I love this country so much, so I cannot just go like that. So it's the end of the road as far as youth dialogue is concerned. It has been a really amazing journey, bringing young people from different aspects of the Gambia to talk about critical issues that are happening. For all of you that I've offended, I'm sorry, I don't mean to, but I'm a nationalist. I love the Gambia, so I want things to go right. So thank you so very much to the entire management and staff of QTV Gambia, starting from, Q Group, starting from Mr. Jia to right to the last person, Mr. Kaburi Bala. Thank you for being a brother to me. Thank you to everybody. And I can assure you that the youth dialogue will be bigger and better under her, because I will help with guidance and all of that. And together we can make it happen as far as the Gambia is concerned. This is the country we have, and it's for all of us. Let's work together collectively. It doesn't matter you are UDP, NPP, NRP, or whatsoever. Let's just work together collectively and make the Gambia a better place place for all of us, but generations to come. This is all we have for you. Until we come your way next week, until she comes your way next week for another edition of the Youth Dialogue. It's a bye from me, but young people, thank you very much for being supportive over the years. Bye.